Growing up, my brother and I were told that our grandpa, my dad's dad, had died before he was born, and that my grandma tragically passed away from an aneurysm when he was 17. A sad but simple story, right? Well, buckle up, because what I discovered years later shattered everything I thought I knew about my family. My dad, James, never talked much about his parents. We just assumed he didn't like to dwell on the past. But looking back, there were subtle hints, like how he avoided talking about his childhood, or how he tensed up whenever we asked about his father. Then at 21, my world flipped upside down. I was on the phone with my mom, just a casual chat, when she suddenly said, "Oh, by the way, your grandpa's alive. He lives 2 hours away." I almost dropped my phone. What? I asked her to repeat it, thinking I must have misheard. But no, my dad's father, the man we were told never existed, was alive. And that's when my mom dropped another bomb. Turns out my grandma had an affair with a man named Marvin, and my dad was the result. When she refused to get rid of the baby, Marvin swore he would never acknowledge my dad's existence, and he kept that promise. But it gets worse. Not only did he abandon my dad, but he also married someone else just months later. Starting a whole new family like my dad never even happened. For years, we believed my grandma passed away from an aneurysm when my dad was 17. But that was a lie too. One day, while casually talking to my mom again, she said something that made my stomach drop. "Your grandma didn't die from an aneurysm, honey. She took her own life." It turned out my dad was stationed at Fort Knox when his uncle called. "Are you coming to the funeral?" he asked. And just like that, my dad found out his mother was gone. I knew I had to find Marvin. This man had lied, abandoned, and erased my dad like he never existed. I wanted answers. So I did the unthinkable. I drove 2 hours to confront him myself. Marvin looked at me like he'd seen a ghost. His hands shook as he put down his coffee cup. I told him who I was, and for the first time in his life, he couldn't run from the truth. His first words, "I never wanted to hurt anyone." Oh, the irony. Just when I thought I knew it all, Marvin's wife, his second wife, called me a week later. She said there was something I needed to see. When I arrived, she handed me a box filled with old letters, newspaper clippings, and a birth certificate. That's when I discovered the final, most shocking twist. My grandma's death might not have been a suicide. There were rumors, whispers of a cover-up. A neighbor had claimed she saw a man leaving her house the night before she was found. And guess who that man was? Marvin. Was it a coincidence? Or had he silenced her to bury his secret forever? I don't have all the answers. I may never know the full truth. But one thing's for sure. Marvin spent his whole life running from the past. And in the end, his lies couldn't stay buried forever. As for me, I'll carry my grandma's story forward. And as for Marvin, I'll let karma take care of the rest. What do you think? Do you believe my grandma really took her own life? Or do you think Marvin had something to do with it? Let me know in the comments. And if you love shocking real-life stories, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay curious.